पानी है क्या?
हाँ
नहीं ये नहीं भैया, बिस्लरी बॉटल लाना तो।
बिस्लरी नहीं, मिनरल वाटर.
भैया इसका एक जेरोक्स तो देना.
जेरोक्स नहीं, फोटो कॉपी.
अरे क्या सुबह से लगा रखा है तुमने. अच्छा बाय द वे, मैंने कल मेरी LIC कराई.
अरे LIC नहीं, इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी. Hey folks, CA Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to a super interesting video which is about LIC. And when the DRHP of LIC was filed, and since that day a lot of buzz has been created around this IPO, right? A lot of positive news, a lot of negative news have been flowing around us. So I thought why not focus on basic facts about LIC, and in this video we are going to discuss about top 10 interesting facts about LIC, and all of these have been taken out from the DRHP. So if you want to know about all these facts, just check out the full video. Now let me kickstart with a very interesting fact about how LIC was formed. Earlier, till 1956, there were almost 245 private life insurance players, and all of them were merged into LIC as on 1st of September 1956 with an initial capital of just 50 million rupees. And since then, till date, that is more than 65 years, it has been serving our nation and it has been the largest life insurer in India. But does this mean that it has presence only in India? We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But right now, if I'm talking again about India only, it is currently having a pan-India network with a presence covering more than 91% of all the districts in our country. One more interesting fact is that okay, all these private insurance players got merged into one, agreed. So, does it mean that there was a monopoly of LIC for a long time? Answer is yes. Till 2000, it had absolute monopoly. No other insurance player in India. And maybe that was the reason why people used to say that मी आज LIC काढली, आज मैंने LIC निकाली. That is the reason for almost 40 plus years of monopoly in this insurance industry. Moving ahead, like the point I was trying to tell you, that does it have a big name only in India? Answer is again no. LIC has branches in Fiji, Mauritius, UK. They have subsidiaries in Bahrain with operations in Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, UAE, Bangladesh, Nepal, Singapore, Sri Lanka. Oh my God, huge presence, right? And one final point about LIC, very important, is that IRDA has identified LIC as domestic systemically important insurer, DSII. Now I'll quickly tell you what is that. It means that if something goes wrong with LIC, I don't think it'll ever happen, but if something goes wrong, then government says, don't worry, we'll step in and ensure that everything goes back to normalcy. These, I hope you have loved all the important but very interesting facts about LIC. How to identify that a company has a super strong brand value, especially for a common man? How do you understand that? If the product name is used as a synonymous with the brand name, with the company's name, then it does have a brand value. The same point that we discussed even in the pre-bumper of the video, right? But if I were to put down into numbers, right? As per a report, brand value of LIC in 2021, it was US dollar 8,655 million. And it has a brand strength index score of 84.1 out of 100. In fact, LIC was also recognized as the third strongest and the 10th most valuable global insurance brand in 2021 as per the Insurance 100 2021 report which was released by Brand Finance. Now, if I go ahead, okay, brand value established, agreed. But then if I were to go one step ahead and if we were to check that how much is the market share right now, does it commands 100% monopoly right now? No. But does it have a very strong market share? For that, have a look at this table. You'll understand we are comparing what? We are comparing LIC with all the private players, private insurance players. Like what? Like SBI Life, HDFC Life, ICICI Pru Life. Acha, one important point. Are we comparing LIC with non-life insurance players? No. LIC is only life insurance company. Na? So we are comparing it with only other life insurance players, right? Now, if I compare total premium collected, out of the total premium collected, 64.1% has been collected by only LIC, and all the private players put together is 35.9%. If I talk about new business premiums, what is new business premium? First time a policy was issued and premium was collected, that's like a new business premium. But if policy is already in place and only second year, third year, fourth year, that is called as what? That is called as renewal premium, right? So have a look at these percentages. LIC 66.2%, and even if I check SBI, that is 7.4%. Okay, now coming to renewal premium, 62.5%, SBI 8.5%. Okay, hope you're understanding the big difference between the first and even the second insurance player. If I talk about number of policies which were taken out individual basis, 74.6%, and balance all the private players put together is 25.4%. And if I'm talking about group policies, typical example, like if you are working in some company, then a group insurance policy is there, right? If I'm talking about group insurance policies, 81.1% LIC, and all private players put together, it's 18.9%. I hope you have gotten enough understanding about how LIC has a significant or a huge market share in the life insurance space. Going ahead with AUM, what is AUM? Assets under management. LIC is the largest asset manager in India with managed assets worth how much? 36.8 trillion rupees as of 31st March 2021. Now you might be like, what connection LIC has with this term AUM? Generally, we use AUM with mutual fund industry, right? Now, please understand, whenever LIC collects the premium for insurance policies, what is it going to do with that? What is it going to do with that? It's going to invest it somewhere. And this money that LIC has is nothing but what? AUM, that is assets under management, and that is 36.8 trillion rupees. Now, if I were to compare this AUM with private life insurers, one private player, all the private life insurers in India. So if I consider that as X, what AUM of all private players in India, X, LIC's AUM is 3.3x. That's the huge difference in AUM. Now, if I were to talk about the entire mutual fund industry's AUM, not one mutual fund, not two, entire mutual fund industry's AUM, if I consider that as X, then LIC's AUM is still 1.1x. So now, right now, what did we compare? One insurance player as compared to entire mutual fund industry's AUM. Isn't still that huge? Yes. And the final one, if I'm talking about the GDP of India now. Okay, so understand how I'm going. First, I compared LIC's AUM with what? Only other private players. Okay, private life insurance players. Then I compared LIC's AUM with what? Entire mutual fund industry in India. Now I'm comparing LIC's AUM with what? India's GDP. Out of India's GDP, if I'm comparing LIC's AUM figure, that is approximately 19% of India's GDP for the fiscal year 2021. Oh my God, I hope you have understood how overwhelming these figures are, and I hope you have enjoyed these important stats. Moving ahead with some more interesting facts about LIC's investments. If you have a look at these points, you can see that how is LIC's investment portfolio bifurcated. You can see that major bifurcation is obviously between debt and equity, wherein debt constitutes roughly 75% of their portfolio, equity is constituting roughly 25% of their portfolio. Now, going back to debt, where are they investing in debt? Almost 37% in central government securities, 24% roughly in state government securities, and barely 8% in corporate bonds, right? But then if you're talking about, what would be the rating of all these debt securities? You can see here again in the next point that 96% of LIC's debt AUM was invested in sovereign and AAA minus rated securities. And you might be like, oh my God, minus. AAA minus is a very good rating, okay? So all in all, pretty safe investments in the debt segment as well. Now, how about equity? 25% is in equity, agreed. But out of that also, over 90% of equity investments were in stocks which are either a part of Nifty 200 or BSE 200 indices. So again, comparatively stronger, or instead of stronger, I can say comparatively larger companies, not in small caps for sure, right? Now, moving on, if I talk about a few more interesting points, you can see that LIC is the largest domestic institutional investor in India, in the entire Indian financial sector right now. I have been talking about all these things in my videos: RIIs, DIIs, FIIs. So, out of DIIs, LIC is the largest one. And if I talk about how much is their total carrying value, market value of all LIC's investments, that is coming up to 8 trillion rupees. 8 lakh crore rupees is the market value of LIC's equity investments, okay? And that represents how much? Almost 4% of the total market capitalization of NSE. OMG. I'll also tell you one more interesting fact about not LIC, not NSE, but about our channel. That as compared to views, our likes are not even 4%. So if you want, Hana Tyala, right? Moving ahead, strong banker network. Now again have a look at this. If I am comparing LIC with all other major life insurance players, LIC, how many bank branch partners do they have? 51,633, and comparing it with the second biggest, SBI Life, that is 38,026, followed by HDFC, which is 18,649. All in all, I hope you have understood how strong banker network they have. Moving ahead with the largest and moving ahead with their agent network, basically, you can see that right now, as at 31st March 2021, LIC had 1.35 million individuals in their agent network. And I'm sure that even in your families, there will be at least one LIC agent, right? May not be in your close family, but from your extended family, एक LIC agent तो होता ही होता है, right? So 1.35 million individuals as LIC agents. And if I'm talking about entire private life insurance put together, 1.10 million individual agents. Again, I hope you're understanding the strength. But is that number only important, that we have highest number of agents? No. We have to also talk about their productivity. Now, how can I compare their productivity? Possibility number one, I talk about one agent brings in how many new policies. Possibility number one. And possibility number two, how much premium revenue does that individual generate for LIC? Right? So for that, have a look at this table. So if I'm talking about financial year 2021, you can see that per agent, on an average, 15 policies were sold. And if I'm talking about productivity based on premium collected, what is NBP? New business premium. That's the revenue generated per agent. That is coming roughly to 4,12,934. Okay. Now, if I were to compare this data with H1 FY22 figures, this is 5.3, so roughly 5 policies sold in the first half. Even if I double this up, that is coming roughly to 10 policies sold as compared to 15 policies sold in 21. Now, why was this dent? Obviously because of Corona as well, okay, the second wave. Now, if I again were to compare NBP for H1 FY22, it's 1,61,201, so again slightly lower even if I double these figures up. Okay, agreed. But how is LIC placed as compared to other in the private sector? So just as an example, one individual agent who was getting around 15 policies for SBI Life, one agent is bringing 3.9 policies. Even if I round off, it's 4 policies. That's the second highest. One individual agent generating 4,12,934 worth revenue by NBP. Second highest SBI Life, 2,30,140. So I hope again through this table you have understood that how LIC is way ahead as compared to its peers. Now, till now we compared LIC with other private life insurance players. Then we compared LIC with the mutual fund industry. Then we compared LIC with India's GDP. Now let's compare LIC with other global players. So if I were to tell you that how it is placed, LIC is ranked 5th globally in terms of life insurance premium. And I'm sure you might be like, who will be the first one? Which country will it be?
China.
Wrong, for a change. Second, USA? For a change, it is Germany. Have a look at this table. Alliance is from China. It's from Germany. And the second and third are from China. Ping An Insurance and China Life Insurance is from China. And fourth one is Italy. It's impossible for me to pronounce that. Whatever it is. Assicurazioni Generali is also from Italy. And India. Life Insurance Corporation of India, right? So that's how we are placed 5th. Now, if I go to, if I were to compare how LIC is dominant as compared to the second largest life insurance player. And we are comparing this at a global level as well. Okay, so generally whenever we talk about the top players in any industry, generally there is a neck to neck competition. How? Let's try and understand. In USA, the top two players market share is 8.4% and 7.6% respectively. Is it a neck to neck comparison? Neck to neck market share? Yes. China 21.3% and 20%. Japan 20%, 16.2% and 15.4%. Again, neck to neck comparison. India 64.1% and 8%. Nowhere even it is neck to neck comparison. Okay, so that shows how LIC is dominant as compared to its second peer, or I can say the second largest peer in the same industry. Moving ahead with our last 2 points, this one is about how many mis-selling complaints were received by LIC. If you have a look at the table, you will understand that per 10,000 policies sold by LIC, only 2.4 complaints were received. Very low number. How did I say that? Because if I were to compare this number with the median of top 5 private players, median for top 5 private players is 23.8. As compared to that, LIC number is pretty low. So good one. And moving on with our final point, LIC's product portfolio, I can say it's overall immunized to the capital market cycles. Now why? Their total non-linked product mix is 99.7%. Please don't ask me how much is linked then. If non-linked is 99.7%, then linked has to be 0.3%, right? Mathematically challenge people again. So LIC is at 99.7%, but even again, if you compare it with median of top 5 players, it is 63.6%. So I hope you have understood this point as well. All in all, this was all about the top 10 points, what I thought are there in the LIC DRHP. If you want me to make a separate video on LIC IPO review once their RHP is filed, do let me know in the comment section. And if you want to learn more about term insurance and health insurance, you can click here. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye-bye.